Greetings, YouTube. Welcome to episode 285 of the 4,000 Question Challenge. What problem, if solved, would give you the greatest peace of mind? Hmm. Economic inequality. There we go. What are restrictions that you cannot stand living with? Restrictions. Um, the restrictions that are placed upon the middle class and poor, preventing them from enjoying the same number of privileges and rights as the wealthy. Those are the restrictions I can't tolerate. What is one item that symbolizes the times in which we live, and why do you see it as a symbol? The money sign, because it's what runs the world right now. It's what rules the world right now. It's hoarded by the wealthy and used as a weapon against the rest of us, even though we're the ones creating the wealth. There you go. Can you explain logical positivism or moral relativism? Relativism. Logical positivism. Actually, honestly, I don't know if I've ever heard of that term before. Moral relativism is a moral is a bankrupt worldview. That basically says that two opposing ideas hold equal value. So the people on the left that want the maximum number of civil liberties and human rights for everyone, and say white nationalists are viewed as being morally equivalent, even though this group wants to enslave or murder entire segments of the human population and strip women of their rights, and this group wants to do the opposite. They want to maximize the number of rights and privileges and that we have. So yeah, that's moral relativism. It's ugly. It's wrong. Logical positivism, I honestly don't think I've ever heard that term before, which is kind of weird because I've heard a lot of political terms. Um, I heard of toxic positivity, but not logical positivism. Maybe it's because I'm a dyed-in-the-world cynic and pessimist. What does a conscience do, and where does it come from? What does a conscience do, and where does it come from? A conscience help guide us through our moral lives. And again, as I've mentioned in other videos, I base my moral compass on Bernard Gert's work in the Moral Rules. Um, Basically, the concept that if everyone is a rational actor, and if they believe in reciprocity, that's the best philosophy, because everyone's going to do what is best for themselves and extend that to others. For example, I don't want to be robbed, so I don't rob. I don't want to be attacked, so I won't attack. I don't want to be raped, so I won't rape. I don't want to be murdered, so I won't murder. Now, it does exclude non-rational actors, and that can be for mental illness or any other number of reasons. But for the rational actors that believe in reciprocity, um, that is, in my opinion, a good foundation to base things on. So I think it comes from a solid moral and ethical worldview based in logic and reason. I believe that having a theistic worldview can help reinforce that. It's going to help us to have better and greater sympathy and compassion for other people, but it is not a replacement for that. Can people and nations be grouped and stereotyped? Well, stereotypes usually exist for a reason, because there can be found in the real world an example of that stereotype. But then the stereotype becomes broadened and applied to many people, which may not be applicable. Just because a stereotype exists does not mean it is universal to that group. My favorite example is the what is often called the gay lisp, but it's not a lisp. It's It's an accent. Some men have a gay accent, and some don't. But the stereotype is that all gay men have that accent, and they don't. That's the logical fallacy of all poodles are dogs, not all dogs are poodles. So yeah, just because a poodle is a dog doesn't mean that all dogs are poodles. No, it doesn't work that way. Um, so yes, stereotypes exist, and I don't think they're healthy if they're applied broadly. Narrowly applied under certain circumstances, they probably make some sense, but broadly, no, they don't. Are you typical of your generation? No, I am not. At the time of this filming, I'm 55, and most people in my age group are conservative, and I am aggressively progressive and opposed to almost every policy that the United States of America endorses, and I am deeply opposed to organized religion and social conservatism. So I am very much not a member of my generation. Haven't been for a very long time. Technology, time saver or not? It's a hell of a time saver. Technology is a massive time saver. Do you know how much effort it would take to do this right here, what I'm doing right now, 30 years ago, 40 years ago? Because there would be no digital content for the most part. It would be all on some kind of physical media, and editing it and all that stuff. No, hell no. Massive time saver. What are 5 people, places, or things that define the American style? Wow, I'm a bad guy to ask this. I'm not sure if I know the American style. I mean, I can know the American stereotype, action heroes, cowboys, John Wayne, the American fly, the apple pie, baseball, corrupt politicians. There you go. That's 5 things. Share a hope and fear you have about the future. My hope is that America will live up to its ideal. My fear is we will continue to be just as horrible as we are today at the time of this filming. And by the time you see it, I'm really doubting things have gotten a lot better. I'd like to think they will. But the depression in me and the cynic in me thinks it won't. Remember, I'm filming this before the 2020 elections. So I guess we'll see. Alrighty. Thank you for being here for episode 285 of the 4,000 Question Challenge. I hope you'll be here for episode 286.